Okay.
Wait, sorry, can you say that again?
Like, I'll pass you the stuff, it's just that I'm starting on the advantages rather than the plan text.
I got you.
I'm starting on the advantages
I got you.
rather than
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the way I have it printed out starts with the plan text.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Let me cut a card too. Let me cut a card. Gotta read
Wait,
that
have
every
you
month.
ever cut a card besides my own?
That's the only card I read, actually.
That's like literally the only card in your case half the time.
Okay, you
I
ready?
mean, all the other stuff is just a priori analytic truth, so of course it's analytic.
Ready?
Yeah.
Advantage 1. Seriously, what's the deal with waiters these days? I'm just trying to enjoy my meal and all of a sudden some obnoxious waiter comes by and obsequiously asks how I'm doing. Fine, I brush him off, trying to enjoy these unlimited soups and salads like I intended, but then he's back. How are you doing? Can I get anything for you? Oh God, fine, I'm doing fine, just leave me alone so I can eat my breadsticks. All was quiet on the Western Front for a few more minutes, but then much like some possessed ghost demon cockroach who came back from the dead to haunt the very fibers of my existence, the waiter came back and I heard those harrowing words strip out of his lips. I see we hated the meal, did we? Can I get you anything for dessert? Oh God, I clenched my fist, I furrowed my brow, and I made my peace with being a free man! I was fully ready to murder the swarmy sycophant, but then I remembered Europe. I remember the vacation I went where the waiters weren't paid by tips, and how happy I was, how happy he was, how happy we were, not having to feign some sort of sincerity and caring and niceness for tips, as we both know he was paid a fair living wage as paid by his employer. And then, in that Olive Garden, I came to. I realized my anger was not with this waiter, but with the system, and such was the day I devoted myself to reforming it by whatever means possible. If waiters make a living wage, then they won't have to bother me while I'm trying to finish my Bostrom damn meal. Advantage 2. Thermonuclear global extinction Bostrom. Everyone already knows if we don't raise the minimum wage a few dollars in this one specific sector for a few employees, humanity will be destroyed and like my chance of getting to the bid round with this plan. I don't even really need evidence for this claim, because let's be honest, nobody even flows the AC in the first place. But if I must, plan boost the economy, prevent poverty, and raise the minimum wage for poor workers who need to support their families. Cooper 13. Research in the past few decades has shown that modest increases in the minimum wage have led to new economic jobs. Raising the minimum wage can boost overall activity immediately by 1010 with $35 billion in new wages. Economic decline triggers global war. Economic institutions can't check down its impact. James 7.2. It can happen again. Global fragility. The main story of the precarious and financial globalization, intentionally unclear spreading, the aftermath of the Yo-Made financial collapse, financial distribution of mass destruction, the strategic doctrine of man, letting doubt that any superpower conflict could inevitably escalate temptation to roll the dice. Metaphors game could be fatal. And this is obviously extinction. Freeman 913. We live in a time of great strategic China, Japan, obviously Asian war, nuclear age. War could be in the annihilation. All take part in it. And preventing extinction comes first. Duh. No one cares that it's improbable because A, like it's not. I have authors who are kind of making passing references to what I'm talking about, and these authors sort of suggest the possibility of extinction isn't necessarily going to not going to happen. And B, the probability of Firefly being canceled was really low, but that was friggin' awful. Whatever. This analysis means nothing. Bow to your Lord and Savior Nick Bostrom. Mortal uncertainty suggests an alternative. We may not be able to enter the best edge of our journey if we're uncertain about the ultimate aim. We should recognize the option value that's intentionally unclear spreading. Ensuring the humanity is the best way to increase the probability of future one getting a lot of value. This may prevent any accidental catastrophe. Advantage 3, some Pomo card that I swear affirms. We don't have to spread through it, having cut it so densely, you won't be able to hear what it means or even if it's sensible or applicable to the topic. This means you flow it anyway. Pretend to understand it during your RFD when she inevitably calls you out, and evaluate it under any framework first because of time skew and neg win biases. Empirically verified because round 2 at Novice NDCA last year had an 8% neg win bias. Also, neg bias means AF gets presumption, AFC, an automatic win, and higher speaker points to losing Qatari. Noodles. As long as I can see my standards conceding the affirmative. Whichever debater can concede the AF wins, the most wins the round. Thus, I modestly propose the plan text. The U.S. ought to ensure employers pay a living wage to waiters and waitresses. Raider Outbreak J clarifies with a response to Ask Reddit question. Non-Americans Reddit. What American custom seems outrageous or pointless to you? Tipping being considered mandatory. I know waiters don't get paid a lot. Tipping represents a good part of the revenue. I just don't get paid. I just don't get why they don't get paid a decent living wage in the first place. Also for this because 1, he is practically internet famous. Outbreak J has 4,900 link kernel. Y'all who aren't on Reddit, A, get on Reddit. It's awesome. And B, that's a lot. Second, he has the objectivity of you being outside the U.S. being able to accurately look at a situation. And third, a priori alert, this affirms on base because the comment was gilded and received almost 4,000 upvotes, which means people want the plan. All kidding aside, let's get serious. There was a method behind the madness. My AC mocks the charade we all play, pretending that we talk about is significant. I just really want to talk about how we live in ways we don't have to pay the waiters, which means they won't be as annoying, but everyone complains about some significance. Expect me to run some extinction scenario. The role of your ballot is to vote for whomever best uses irony to deconstruct debate. My performance of the AC allows me to challenge the dominance of traditional politics, cool niche. The performative protesters did not argue against state he mocks it. The protester works the margin of discourse, utilizing puns and jokes to characterize the exposing and the limits of what's being said. Performative resistance does not tell us what is wrong, rather reveals the existence of subjugation where we not previously seen it. Performative resistance enables politics. The question is not what we should resist, but how we should resist. Deliberation must be theatrical, as in the performance that cannot be defined. Argument finds expression. The oral histories of demonstration linger over the jokes and funny signs more than the speeches of carefully coherent position papers. The politics of deliberation must take into account the creative potential that resides in the performance of debate. And Shmita is a practice in Jewish law where once every 7 years lands are left fallow and debts are forgiven. This is to acknowledge the tumult and ridiculousness of the past 7 years and to start anew. Vote apt to engage in ironic debate Shmita through guerrilla communication. Vote empirically distorting the message and meaning in communication are more effective, pure criticism and challenging and changing norms. Blizzet. Guerrilla communication doesn't focus on argument of facts and then inhabits a militant political position. This basic social communication counteracts the omniscient and plattling of power by distorting and disfiguring the messages, on deterring and subverting the message of being transported. What's new about this? Nothing. There have been the dietists, the metropolitan, the persuasionists, many other. Looking not at just what's being said, but focusing on how it's being said is the method of exploration. The system takes its strength from its ability to incorporate critique. Any democratic opposition of criticism which doesn't fundamentally shatter the legitimacy of the ruling system tends to become part of it. Communication guerrillas in intent to interview without being absorbed by the dominant discourse. Communication guerrillas is one of the ways to create those moments in which we could tell everything could be completely different. A fragmented utopia of a seat of change. And irony is superior to all other forms of discourse and performance is its ability to change and challenge and overcome and deeply entrenched discourse and hierarchies. Hutchinson. Irony is the subversive and oppositional. The subversive functioning of irony is often connected to the view that a self-critical, self-reflexive, self-knowing mode that has potential to or a challenge to the hierarchy of discourse. Such an ability to undermine and overturn is said to have politically transformative power. A mode of combat, irony's intimacy with the dominant discourse of context and strength, allowing the ironic discourse to both by time and relativize the dominant authority by permanent power. So put away your theory, taking one round away from the usual course guard bullshit, one trigger extinction. That's my advantage too. Cross-sex.
Okay, let's go through the warrant in Coolidge.
Cool. I like Coolidge.
Wait, I have
Not
a
as much as I
question.
hate waiters, though.
What am I supposed to do? Like, have an ironic performance that's distinct from the AF?
Yeah, sure.
How do I do weighing between like the AF performance and the neg performance? Is it like how value between stand our feet?
Fortunately, debate has taught me to always have blocks. Here's my 18 weighing mechanism.
Okay, can you just read that to me? Like, how are we supposed to do weighing? Like,
We can weigh, but
ironic
like how,
performance
like the
events?
likelihood of probability of what we are doing to deconstructing, the magnitude of what we are doing, the relevance to the event we have, many different criteria.
Yeah, like I'm asking what those criteria are. But let's move on.
okay.
I forgot my question. Okay, wait, so is your advocacy that we do this in every round? Like every round should be an ironic performance?
No, that's why it's a debate Shmita. It's just like in Israel when they do. They live 1 year out of every 7 years. They leave their lands fallow. This and forgive debts. Obviously, it'd be ridiculous to do that every 7 years, but we just need to understand the ridiculous and
so how do
tumult.
you decide like what rounds we have an ironic performance in?
Oh, this is going for the
Your
length of this
warrant says that
topic.
we should always do this.
This
Like,
is for the
irony-
length of the topic. This is what the Shmita is. This like tournament.
Okay, so
the
on
Shmita is
this
this tournament.
topic,
Yeah,
we should always just have ironic performances.
yeah, you can.
No, I'm like, asking like, is that what you defend?
I'm saying it's permissible to do on this topic, only on
I
this
don't
topic.
like permissible as in like, well, obviously.
But then also we could do it on one topic like 2 years from now or something like that. We
Yeah,
need
sure.
to
So
keep
how
on
do we
re-recognizing
decide-
this.
How do we decide when we should have an ironic performance and when we should like engage in?
Well, I think that's
don't know.
ultimately not relevant because we haven't had this kind of performance of a Shmita like yet, or at
Wait,
least
well,
not
I want to know
relevant.
what your advocacy is.
My
Like,
advocacy
need
is
to know
we
what's
vote
behind
app an ironic debate Shmita.
Right, so do
Isn't that a fun word,
like,
Shmita?
I want to be able to condemn your advocacy. So I'm asking, is this what we do in every round?
I mean, on this topic, you
Okay,
can.
cool. Let's go. Okay, let's go through the word in
Shmita.
Kulinich.
Kolniach?
Yeah, the role of the ballot is to vote for whomever best uses irony to deconstruct debate.
Yes.
What does it mean to deconstruct debate?
Well, deconstruction is a theory in which we can like look at the aspects behind something and understand how it functions,
So
like
how-
why it functions, and
Okay,
how
so
like
where's
the status
the
quo is so
warrant-
ridiculous.
Where's the warrant in Kulinich for why using irony allows us to see something that, or like,
Kolniach is warranting for why irony is a better use of pointing out different things than like serious approaches against them.
wait, can you say that again?
So, Kolniach is specifically talking about the performative resistance against politics. Is that when you do something that like is a carefully coherent position paper that kind of gets absorbed by the dominant discourse. The protester
Okay,
needs
so
to
why
mock
is the
it.
dominant discourse bad?
What?
And why is ironic discourse the best alternative to the dominant
Okay,
discourse?
do you want me to flip a coin and answer them? Like, which one do you want me to answer first?
Just in order.
Okay, the order. What was the first question?
The first one was, why is the dominant discourse inherently bad? Like, why should we resist it in the first place? I just want to know the warrant in this card.
I mean, this is just warranting performative resistance in general against when you want to resist something.
Okay, so why should we resist something in the first place? That just begs the question. Starting point.
It's because the status quo debate, it's the same reason we need to understand the Schmidt.
Who is this author?
What do you mean?
Who is this Klinich guy?
She's an assistant professor.
So it's not specific to debate?
I mean, no, it is talking about debate.
Like high school debate rounds and like LD?
I think Hutchinson is actually specific to debate rounds.
Okay, can you tell me the Warrington Hutchinson?
Okay, cool. Hutchinson is specific.
Can you put this in the order that you read it? Can I stop, for a second? Do not.
I mean, do you want the irony framework and you want the other stuff too?
Yeah, I just want it in the order that you
Well,
read
that's
it.
the irony framework. If you want the other
Okay.
stuff, I can. The order I read it, I told you that I was reading Advantage 3 first, and then I went back up to Advantage 1. But it's kind of like stuff is on the different page. I can put it in order and you can just look at it through the different advantages.
Yeah, I just want you to put it in order.
Cool.
Okay.
Start prep?
Yeah, I reset it. Wait, so using irony is the role of the ballot, not the methodology.
It's not just using irony just like blandly. It's not like you get up there and tell like a Chris Rock joke or something. It's using it for the purpose of deconstructing debate and the patterns and norms.
Okay,
yeah.
so would you say that the role of the ballot is to deconstruct debate and irony is your methodology?
Sure.
Okay.
Are you going to use this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, so why is dominant discourse bad?
Which dominant discourse?
The dominant discourse of debate, which is...
Well, I mean, things like ridiculous extinction scenarios, ridiculous like postmodern cards,
Wait, like,
the way
people
we
read
approach
them. Like, some
debate.
people are actually real-life utilitarians. I'm just asking you, why is this inherently bad?
Oh, first of all, I would say that you're asking that like is circular about the nature of the K. This is something that we laugh at this when I do it because we recognize the absurdity behind it. And that's where irony draws its power, because you laugh at it and you think it's ridiculous, but then you realize you're not laughing at me, you're laughing at the system behind it. So the very fact that this room was laughing during the entirety of the AC proves that the dominant discourse of debate is something that we need to have Schmidt up for. That make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, stop prep.
43 left?
Mm-hmm.
You write that down?
Yeah.
What's the order?
It's going to be, I don't want to call it an NC, but you could just one off and then...
Can you flash it to me if you're gonna read something? Unless you can, okay.
Okay, so you should pick out, I'm just thinking how many sheets of paper you should have. 3 and then AC.
Oh, I forgot to tell you to float the AC
Or
on 6
2.
different pieces of paper.
You don't have? Okay, whatever.
Wait, hold on.
We were supposed to flow the AC.
No, that was one of my points, that no one even flows the AC in the first place.
Yeah, I did.
That's why you auto over.
Well, I didn't get that argument because I didn't flow it. So.
Making an argument about how the judge has to be following your arguments.
Does that matter to
No, it doesn't.
It could. Like, wouldn't that really only be listened to by judges who were flowing your argument? Or
I mean, what if you're listening but not flowing?
Yeah. Sharing Koshi.
well, I don't think you'd be motivated before this because someone could.
It's true.
Is this the newest?
Yes, I would think so.
Okay. What's it?
People are really funny now.
Yeah, sure. I should name it something funny eventually.
It's just titled NC.
Okay. Oh, NC? Okay, there's probably a lot titled down. Give me a second.
So it's gonna start with like an overview, and then we'll just like go through the same order.
We'll try to play the overview.
You probably don't need to.
Okay.
Wait, sorry.
That's
Or you can just like not feel anything, which is
Okay, I'm sorry, would you
probably
like me to pull it
won't
up?
impact your decision.
Wait, was there an off case position that you mentioned? Or is it just the F?
Okay, so like framing, and then like it's like an NC, and then like on his row of the ballot, and then the methodology. Or like we'll just signpost. We'll see.
But it's in this order?
Mhm. Remember that his advocacy that the new form of debate should have is an ironical, irony in every one of those topics. That if I read a normal essay, that's actually going to deconstruct the form of debate that he advocates. That as long as I'm reading like what you consider a normal essay, it's also a deconstruction of debate because his advocacy that we should always have debate. So long this sounds a lot like just debate every round irony. So we must strive morality from the structure of action, self-action theories, and metaphysical and anything theories. All the theories says we should develop answer the question or pursue a constant action in the first place. And this constitutive action that I'm taking action for will my own freedom to sense. Thus, this means living a spatial temporal community when our freedom is possible. Only on the condition of joining will with the will of others, must jointly will with submersible constraints. Victor. Security rights of all would only be harmonious with all other matters of war is particular and directed to individual as well as common things and end from that are all been taken as a whole. This concurrence is one has to be same as security law. The concurrence is skip that part of the line. The law says that each person limit the use of his freedom to the rest of the others, likely all women and sex. Actually, of course, willing mind freedom has one that others respect it. But the only way to without to join our will is through reciprocal constraints. Others are familiar with theories like my freedom. And since no individual contains a will, has a duty to stay contained to reciprocal constraints. I realize that freedom, while this is maintaining his freedom. And that is clear substance that involves government preventing the formation of employment for less than religion posting or requirement external to the agent's own will. Whoa. For the autonomous, there is no such thing as a command. If someone is issuing commands and expects those commands to be obeyed, if I'm on a thinking should and captain is giving orders remaining, the likelihood I may decide that under certain I had better do what he does disobeying him would be generally harmful. Insofar as I'm making such a decision, I'm not obeying his command. Then on the row of the ballot, which tells you that we have to use irony in order to deconstruct debate. The fundamental problem with this row of the ballot does not actually attribute any intrinsic benefits to dominant discourse. It does actually tell you why dominant discourse is something about it we should have in the first place. The Hutchinson evidence should talk about why we should have irony because the best way to challenge debate doesn't actually attribute some kind of intrinsic benefit. Even if he says that dominant discourse causes oppression, he doesn't attribute why oppression is an intrinsic balance in the first place. So we have to develop a framework if we care about this row of the ballot. The only way to apply oppression in the row, which is exactly what it talks about, is through substantive argumentation, low vet. When the argument is clear, the argument is offensive to be one place, the competition argument is not with a competition to delegitimize arguments. I think it's too close to the line because too close to the line is over the line. How that we can rationalize this chilling effect before release of the discourse, boring and monotonous suits, not the many disparate voices who occasionally to say outrageous things because there are outrageous things. The Congress is debating changes in military pension system. So when it's proposed described as sick and offensive, do you really want to make policy this way? Actually, there's one card that's not in there, but I'll give it to you once. And also, because it doesn't provide a framework, even if you think it's obviously true that spreading is a bad thing and stomping your feet is a bad thing, that's intuitively true. You have to be able to question these assumptions in the first place. It's really important that you have to be able to question these assumptions because otherwise it pressures logical acceptance without question because someone has committed a juro. Introducing the cast critical line forms of logic and social ways to define themselves through conceptual purity that ignores that illogical neutrality on which they stand is already running the ethiopolitical choices. Then. Also, in the row of the ballot, he talks specifically about discourse, but the reason if this was important in the first place, we shouldn't use the method of irony because it inherently excludes other people from understanding your discourse. The evidence that he talks about in the first, the blessed card specifically talks about how it's self-reflecting the losses, self-question how we should analyze things. But if the discourse is important in the first, we have to allow people to understand our discourse. The only way to have that is through more direct dialogue. It doesn't ironize people, but also is inherently bad because a lot of debaters need to double breathe and stomp their feet because that actually helps them flow. If they have speaking features, you shouldn't discriminate against these debaters because it's literally they don't have another option but to double breathe or stomp their feet. That's however they speak because they don't have another option. You're excluding debaters from the community by doing this. So it's definitely also when a lot of especially novels are going to be discouraged from joining debate in the first place. He didn't say specifically that in varsity we just sort of certain level, like skill levels of literature use irony to that. He used out of being a novice and like lower skill levels of debaters have to use irony. It's inherently exclusive because these younger debaters are taught that this is how you debate. When you like use irony, you said when you use irony and you tell them that doing all these and reading Bostrom is bad. And like novice debaters are actually taught that Bostrom is a really really good card. Like you're obviously excluding a lot of debaters in many ways in doing this. This is a rule of the ballot that we should reject. But also remember my counter methodology is to reject his form of debate by reading like standard NC, I guess. Let's see. Then on like the you can flow this anywhere on the like rule of the ballot ish. The opportunity for justice inherent in the resolution of question requires that at times to fight juridical political battles and recognize the situation is inside and within institutions that others battles themselves would be, or can be caused by even more dangerous forces. The impact is limitless violence. Derrida 02. The acts of justice for law cannot serve as an alibi for staying out of juridical political battles within an institution. Vanity is of the incalculable idea, which is always the worst for it can be pre-appropriated. The most perverse calculations and calculable justice commands calculation only must one negotiate the relationship between the calculable and the incalculable without a rule. We do not have the reason. The will must take it as far as possible beyond distinctions between public and private politicization. Is indeterminate, even it cannot ever be total. One must recognize that each advance of politicization will oblige us one to reconsider the very foundation of what is choosing the abolition of slavery in all the emancipatory battles. It is necessary to re-elaborate the concept of constant liberation while taking into account the strange structure that we have been describing beyond these territories of juridical politicization on the grand scale. Other areas must constantly open up. The implication of this argument is that we can't have things that like just talk about self and irony, because irony is inherently something that is most understood by yourself. You use it to challenge others in a way that it's best understood through yourself. The argument is that we have to understand our battles through political like institutions and situate our battles within institutions. Means that you have to be making your discourse public and available to everyone in order for it to be a successful battle. This is there to evidence. The argument is that you have to be situated within an institution. Whenever you use a kind of discourse that is only understandable to you and like maybe to other people who, I mean, basically to you, you're making it so that these battles can't be fought. They have to be situated within or inside institutions. Okay, so here's how you vote. You vote on the NC. The counter methodology is that it's still going to be a form of irony because I'm making an ironic I'm like ironizing his form of debate because I'm still deconstructing debate. Remember that in cross-sex, he tells you that the form of debate we should have is always through irony. So by reading, this is the counter methodology, but also I'm giving you very specific insights on his role of the ballot. I'm saying that this is a bad role of the ballot because it's inherently exclusive, and also he can see that discourse is important in reading the role of the ballot. But if that's true, then we can't have an ironic form of discourse because it inherently excludes people. And also, the Derrida evidence tells you that we should have publicly accessible things in order to fight political battles.
Cool. Before I start classics, can you flash me what you can read?
Yeah, that's just one card, yeah.
And it's everything else? Can you put it in the same doc as everything else?
Okay, I can do that. It's titled Dubs NC.
Dubs NC. Okay, pulling it up. Okay. Let's start with a question we all need to know. What is your opinion on waiters?
My opinion on waiters?
Yeah, personally, whenever I'm at a restaurant or whatever, and like I want more water, and I keep on like finishing more water, like they come and refill it, and they put like too much ice in it, and by the end of the meal, it's like all ice. Has that ever happened to you?
I don't feel comfortable answering this question.
Oh, okay. So do you feel comfortable talking about waiters in general?
In what context? Like,
Just
we
like
were
you
talking
like
about
them.
waiters just then, but I wasn't comfortable with that. Maybe if we talk
Okay, next question. Have you ever been to Europe?
No.
Oh, that sucks. Japan?
I don't feel comfortable answering this
Norway?
question.
Okay.
I don't feel
Okay.
comfortable.
Just kind of curious, talking about waiters and stuff, you know. Okay, cool. Let's talk about your Giroux evidence.
Okay.
What does Giroux say?
So, Giroux tells you that the reason why oppression occurs is because we
Whoa, oppression? What am I talking about oppression?
Well, I mean, when you talk about dominant voices, the only ones, like, it seems like
Well, I'm
dominant
not-
voice is inherent. Like,
What did that apply? Like, I don't understand how this applies to a debate round. If I'm talking about we need to do the dominant discourses of debate, I'm not saying like anyone's being oppressed in debate.
Well,
So what's the
okay.
link to oppression?
Well, my argument is that one, you don't have a reason for why dominant discourse is bad in the first place. Then I guess I speculate that it's probably because oppression is bad, and then I read these answers. Like, but regardless, the indites are that we can't make assumptions. So I would say that even if dominant discourse is not bad because of oppression, those still link, because as long as you're not warranting why dominant discourse is inherent bad that we should try to prevent, you're making an assumption, and that's what
Cool.
I'm debating.
What's the text of your roll the ballot? Is it in here?
No.
Can you please provide me a text?
I don't like read a separate roll of the ballot.
Oh, so you don't have a separate roll of the ballot.
Right. So
what is the roll of the ballot?
Here. Okay. So the roll of the ballot is to like evaluate the resolution through like truth. What is like the generic one that everyone reads? Like the standard roll of the ballot, right? So the way that it functions is that if I win the roll of the ballot, that's the reason why you vote on the NC. If I don't win, then that's why you vote on the NC as a counter methodology under your roll of the ballot.
Okay, cool. But you don't have a text for it. It's just some wishy-washy thing that we all kind of know, but we don't know.
Sure, but I like read reasons why we don't have your roll of the
Well,
ballot.
how can we have reasons to prefer something that we don't even know what we're talking about?
I don't. What?
Okay, cool. Let's move on. So you're saying that frameworks are necessary to fight through substantive oppression, right? Have we have people tried this before? Like, has anyone ever thought like maybe we should have this to try to combat oppression?
Wait.
I'm saying, has this been used in the past?
Wait. Think about reasons why oppression is bad.
No, I'm not trying to say oppression is bad. I'm just saying when we're fighting that oppression,
Uh-huh.
you're saying we should do it through framework argumentation.
Yeah. Okay,
So I'm saying, have we tried this in the past?
I don't know what you mean by tried in the past.
have we
but
done this before?
I have evidence that I can read in the next page, or I can flash it to you, or whatever you want. That
Okay,
used
cool.
to
Let's
be
go back to one more
do you want
thing.
me to,
No,
answer the
I want
question
to
or
move
no?
on. I want to move on.
Okay, that's
So
fine.
one more thing. I kind of read D&G is kind of ridiculous and that kind of postmodern philosophy. Then you read Derrida. What does Derrida even mean?
Okay, so Derrida says that when we fight these political battles, they have to be situated.
What does that mean,
within
situated within an
institutions.
institution? What does that mean to be situated within?
So it has to be understood within an institution. It can't be just accessible by yourself, right?
What's the warrant for why it's not accessible by anyone else?
I'm not that's an analytical claim, right? Do you want the word
Okay,
for
cool.
why?
I'll take Brett. It's fine. I've already taken Brett, so. Wait, can I pause for a sec? How much probably taking on your timer?
Huh?
Okay, is anyone timing this? I can't remember if I started from 4 minutes or 3 minutes.
Well, how much time has passed?
It says 2:16 on my timer, counting
Probably
down.
started at 3. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. So I'm just gonna start at 3:16.
Off numbers.
Okay, so I have 20 seconds left. Oh, no. Sorry, Excel. I'm sorry I pissed you off. Oh. Okay. Okay, so the order is going to go her overview, wherever you flowed that, then down the roll ballot stuff.
You have 40 seconds left.
20.
Okay.
Okay, so how long is the 1 hour? 4 minutes, okay. Ready?
It's okay, I forget all the time too.
Starting where?
On her, like wherever you float her overview about like we're deconstructing the deconstruction, then we're going down to my
I
stuff.
was supposed to float that? I was supposed to float?
Wherever you listen to it, go to that part in your brain and listen to it again next to it.
Okay, what's the first argument you have? Is it the love it thing?
No, that was her stuff on the roll ballot. I'm starting on her saying that like
Oh, you just mean the very first thing